The night my son unlocked a secret I never knew I had. What if the person you thought you knew best revealed a side of themselves and of you that shattered everything you believed about love and family? That's what happened to me the night my son locked the door and finally told me everything. You won't believe what came next. Hey everyone, and welcome back. If this story resonates with you, please consider hitting that like button and subscribing for more deeply personal and thought-provoking narratives. Today I'm sharing something incredibly intimate, something that redefined my understanding of connection after immense loss. Have you ever held so many emotions inside that they just burst out, all at once, at the most unexpected moment? That's exactly what happened to me. The memorial service was over, the last of the guests had left, and the house fell into a silence that was heavier than any noise. Then, my son, Michael, closed the door behind us and said something that made my knees weaken. I never imagined that conversation would change our relationship forever. Before we dive into the raw truth of that night, tell me, where are you tuning in from? Are you watching from a bustling city like Chicago, a quiet town in North Carolina, or somewhere sunny like Florida? Let me know in the comments below. It makes me feel like we're sharing this journey together. Let me take you back to that evening. The house was far too quiet. After hosting over 30 people, you'd think I'd welcome the peace. But this silence wasn't comforting. It pressed on my chest, making every breath feel a little harder. My husband, Robert, had just been laid to rest. 45 years of marriage, gone? It still didn't feel real. David, my son, had been my rock through it all. From the hospital visits to the mountain of paperwork, to the eulogy he delivered with a voice that trembled but never broke. He was everything a mother could wish for. Gentle, dependable, and kind. Yet, beneath his strength, I saw something in his eyes that day. A hint of something held back, just like in me. After the last relative departed, I went upstairs to my bedroom. I hadn't even changed out of my black dress, the one with the delicate embroidery Robert always admired. My feet ached, my back throbbed. But it was my heart that truly pulsed with an unexplainable pain. I sat on the edge of the bed, staring at a photo of Robert and me from our 40th anniversary. His smile in that picture was so proud, so full of life. I heard the soft creak of the stairs behind me. David had come up quietly. He paused in the doorway for a second before stepping in and gently closing the door. Then came the soft, unmistakable click of the lock. He stood there in his crisp white shirt, sleeves rolled up, the top button undone. His tie was loose around his neck, and his eyes, those deep, thoughtful hazel eyes, were fixed on me with an intensity I couldn't quite decipher. "Mom," he said softly, "can I talk to you?" "Of course, dear," I replied, a little surprised. "Come, sit." He didn't move immediately. Instead, he walked over to the window, gazed out into the twilight, and then turned back to face me. "I need to say something I should have said a long time ago, and I need you to just listen." A strange tightness coiled in my stomach. I nodded slowly, unsure of what was coming. He sat beside me on the bed, closer than usual. I could feel the gentle warmth of his body. We sat in silence for a few seconds, the air thick with unspoken words. Then he reached out and gently took my hand. It wasn't the same as when he was a little boy, clinging to me during a thunderstorm. This was different. There was an intention behind it, a palpable weight. "Losing Dad," he began, his voice low, made me realize how much time we let slip by, how many things we never say to the people we love. My throat tightened. I squeezed his hand, not trusting my voice yet. "There's something I've carried with me for a long time, Kite," he continued. "Feelings, questions, regrets. And now that it's just the two of us, I can't keep pretending they're not there." His words hung in the air like a heavy mist. I looked at him, truly looked. The faint lines near his eyes, the exhaustion, the profound grief, but also something else, a raw vulnerability. "David," I whispered, "you can tell me anything. You know that." He took a deep, shaky breath. "That's just it, Mom. I don't know if I can, because what I'm feeling, it's not what you'd expect. It's not even what I expected." The room suddenly felt warmer, almost stifling. I could hear my own heartbeat thudding in my ears. My fingers trembled just slightly where they intertwined with his. "I'm scared you'll be hurt, or ashamed, or that you'll never look at me the same way again." I gently pulled my hand from his, only to cradle his cheek with it. "David, nothing you say could ever make me love you less. You're my son." He closed his eyes for a moment, leaning into my palm as if he needed that touch more than air itself. "I loved Dad," he said, his voice barely audible. "I still do, but the truth is, I've been looking at you differently for a long time. Not in a way that's wrong or ugly, just different. You're not just my mum. You're a woman. A strong, beautiful, complicated woman who's held this family together through everything. And I've seen sides of you lately. How you cared for Dad. How you carried yourself. That made me feel things I didn't expect." I slowly pulled my hand away. Not in anger, but in a profound state of uncertainty. I turned my body slightly, needing space to think, to breathe. He didn't move. The silence stretched, amplifying every unsaid thought. I felt so many emotions at once. Disbelief, confusion, a strange warmth, and even a flicker of guilt. But also a peculiar kind of understanding, an ache I hadn't acknowledged since my husband fell ill. I didn't respond right away. I didn't know how. Instead, I reached for the soft, knitted blanket draped across the bed and pulled it over my lap. He shifted a little closer, not touching, but close enough for me to feel his presence like a faint hum of static electricity. "David," I said finally, my voice a whisper. "What do you want from me right now?" He met my gaze, his eyes open and searching. "I don't know. I just wanted to be honest. I needed to tell you. And I needed to know if you've ever felt something, anything too." That's when I realized my hands were trembling. I looked into his face, so open, so raw, and I didn't see a child. I saw a man who had just buried his father, a man who was searching for connection, for clarity, perhaps even for comfort. And something within me, something buried deep for years, began to stir. But I couldn't speak yet, not until I understood what it all meant. He reached up, gently brushing a tear from my cheek. I hadn't even realized I was crying. "Whatever happens," he said, his voice low and steady, "I still love you. I always will. Nothing has to change. But I needed to be real with you tonight." The weight of his confession lingered in the room, thick and fragrant, like incense, impossible to ignore. And so we sat in silence, two grieving hearts navigating something no one had prepared us for. But that night, as overwhelming as it was only the beginning. The night stretched long after that profound conversation, though no more words of that nature passed between us. David eventually stood, gently kissed my forehead, and said he was going downstairs to sleep on the sofa. I nodded, still trying to make sense of the tumultuous emotions pulsing through me. I lay awake for hours. Every memory of David as a boy came rushing back. His tiny hand gripping mine on his first day of kindergarten. The way he used to fall asleep on my chest during summer storms. The proud look on his face when he graduated college, when he landed his first big job, when he stood by his father through the darkest days. But now he was a man who had just laid his father to rest, a man who had looked at me with a confession that still echoed in my bones. At some point, I must have fallen asleep, because I woke to the soft clatter of dishes downstairs. The morning sun was filtering gently through the sheer curtains. For a brief moment, I forgot everything, and then it all came flooding back. I threw on my robe and went downstairs. David stood barefoot in the kitchen, brewing coffee, 2 mugs already set on the counter. He turned when he heard me, offering a quiet smile that held both hesitation and a glimmer of hope. "Morning," he said softly. "Morning," I replied, my voice a bit hoarse. "You didn't have to make coffee." "I wanted to," he said, gesturing to the table. "Thought we could talk if you're ready." I nodded. "Let me just wash my face." When I returned, he was seated at the table, the morning paper untouched beside him. I sat across from him. The kitchen felt familiar, yet something about it had irrevocably shifted. Or perhaps it was us who had changed. We sipped in silence for a while, the aroma of fresh coffee filling the air. Then I spoke. "David, what you said last night, it caught me completely off guard. Not because I'm angry or upset, I'm truly not, but because I never thought we'd have a moment like that. A moment where everything inside gets cracked wide open." He looked at me carefully, his expression unreadable. "Do you hate me for saying it?" "No," I said quickly. "Never. You were incredibly brave to say it. Honest. I admire that in you." He let out a long breath, like he'd been holding it since the previous night. "I didn't want to keep pretending, Mom. I didn't want to just smile through our grief and go back to my life, always wondering that if I'd missed something real between us." His words pulled at something deep inside me. Not lust, not confusion, but a profound emotional intimacy I hadn't felt in years. Not since Robert had fallen ill. Maybe even before that. "You said you've been feeling this for a while," I asked, keeping my voice as calm as possible. He nodded. "Yeah. At first, I thought it was just admiration. Then, during Dad's illness, you were so strong, so present. There were nights I couldn't sleep, and I'd lie in bed thinking about how much you carry, and how beautiful you are, even when you're desperately trying not to cry. I closed my eyes for a moment, letting his words sink in. No one had looked at me as a woman in a long, long time. Not truly. Not since the early years of my marriage. Not since the relentless weight of being giving, and life had aged me faster than the calendar did. I'm not who I was, David, I said, opening my eyes. I'm 72 now. I'm a widow. I've got aches and tired bones, and you're still the most beautiful woman I know, he said, cutting me off gently but firmly. And it's not about age or appearances, Mum. It's the way you talk to people, the way you truly listen, the way your hands offer comfort. That's what I see. That's what I feel drawn to. I didn't know what to say to that. My heart was racing again, just like it had the night before. And then he shared something that truly caught me off guard. I remember one night, he said, his eyes now downcast, his fingers tracing the edge of his coffee cup. I was sane. You had just come home from your shift, exhausted. You didn't know I was awake. You were standing in front of the bathroom mirror, brushing your long hair out of its bun. You looked so tired, so utterly weary. But something about you in that moment, I don't know, it stuck with me. I saw you, not just as my mum, but as someone real, someone I wanted to protect too. That memory hit me like a powerful wave. I remembered that night. I remembered being too utterly exhausted to even cry. I felt guilty, he continued, his voice dotted, for years, for noticing, for feeling those things. But after Dad passed, I couldn't keep pretending it was just a passing thought. It was something more. I reached across the table and gently placed my hand over his. I felt something last night. I admit it. When you took my hand, when you looked at me, I felt something stir in me. Something I hadn't felt in a long, long time. But I didn't know what to do with it. I still don't. He looked up at me, his eyes a little red, a little glassy. You don't have to do anything, Mom, he said, his voice filled with a quiet intensity. I just needed you to know, because whatever happens, I need our bond to be real, not one full of masks and silence. I gave his hand a gentle squeeze. I appreciate your honesty, David, and I want you to know, I don't see you differently. I see you more clearly now. And maybe, just maybe, I see myself more clearly too. We sat there as the morning sun shifted, casting golden light on the kitchen walls that had heard so much, seen so much. Eventually, I stood and began tidying up the kitchen. David helped. Our fingers brushed a few times. Nothing dramatic, but those brief touches lingered, a subtle current. That day passed quietly. No grand declarations, no major decisions were made. But something unspoken lingered between us, soft and pervasive as a whisper. If you're finding comfort in this story, please take a moment to share it with someone who might need to hear it. It helps more than you know. Later that evening, I heard a soft knock on my bedroom door. Just one knock, then silence. I opened it. David stood there, barefoot again. His eyes filled with that same compelling vulnerability. He didn't say a word, just stepped in and closed the door behind him. He locked it, just like he did the night before. But this time, I didn't feel afraid. This time, I was ready to hear everything. The air in the room felt warmer, heavier, as if the very walls were holding their breath. David didn't speak at first. He stood with his back to the door, his eyes scanning the room as though seeing it for the very first time. My subtle perfume still lingered faintly in the air, mingled with the quiet hum of the ceiling fan. The late evening light cast long, dancing shadows across the floor. I sat down on the edge of the bed, just like the night before, and waited. He took a slow step forward, then another,